Hello friends, in today's video we are going to discuss about the defense mechanism of our body, that is how our body responds to the foreign materials which enter in our body. So basically the body responds to the foreign organisms by two methods, that is a specific type of immune response. In a specific type of immune response, suppose this is our microorganism enter in our body. There are various microorganisms enter in our body. And you may have heard about the immune cells. We have immune cells which responses against the microorganism. So these very immune cells response against these very microorganisms without having a specificity, that is this very immune cell can respond to any type of microorganism which enter in our body. That is, there is no any specification that this very or immune cell will respond to only a specific type of bacteria or a specific type of virus. No, in non-specific type of immune response, the immune cells can respond to any type of microorganisms or foreign materials which enter in our body. While in case of a specific type of immune response, what happens is that suppose this is our microorganism which enter in our body, and here is our immune cell. So this very immune cell will respond only to this kind of virus. That is, only this virus is killed by this immune cell, because in this case the immune cell produces antibody which is very specific, which is specific to only one type of virus. That is, one type of antibody is responsible for only one type of microorganism. So this is very specific, and that is why it is known as a specific type of defense mechanism. In today's video we will discuss only about the non-specific type of immune response. So non-specific type of immune response includes two line of defense, that is first line of defense and second line of defense. First line of defense. First line of defense includes physical barriers, or we can say mechanical barriers, which includes physical barriers and physiological barriers and cytokine responses. So first of all, physical barriers. So skin, suppose this is my skin, it acts as physical barrier for the microorganism which tries to enter in my body. So this skin prevents the entry of microorganism physically. And we also know that inside the skin there are several sweat glands or oil glands. Suppose this is our sweat gland. Sweat gland secrete sweat around the skin. Suppose this is our sweat which is secreted by the sweat glands. So this very sweat has acidity, that is it is acidic in nature because of the presence of lactic acid and fatty acid. So this acidity of this sweat checks the growth of microorganism on the surface of skin, thereby preventing it from entering in our body. In some cases, the mucus of the nose or respiratory tract, suppose this is my respiratory tract, and in it there is secretion of mucus. Mucus is basically fluidy substance. When the microorganism tries to enter in nose, it is trapped by this very fluidy substance, that is mucus. So it also act as physical barrier and check the entry of microorganism in lung. The second one in first line of defense is the physiological barrier, which include activity of enzymes. So suppose this is my gastrointestinal tract or respiratory tract or reproductive tract. There is secretion of mucus. We know what mucus is. So suppose there is secretion of mucus, which is secreted by inner mucosa lining. The mucus has certain enzymes such as lysozymes. Lysozymes, suppose this is our microorganism. The lysozyme kill this very microorganism. How does the lysozyme kill this very microorganism or bacteria? We will discuss here. So suppose here is our microorganism. Suppose this is bacteria and it has a lipid membrane around it. Has a lipid membrane around it. The lysozyme breaks this very lipid membrane. The lysozyme breaks this very lipid membrane, thereby separating the lipid membrane of the bacteria. So now the bacteria looks like this, which cannot survive and is killed by the body. That is lysozyme. Lysozyme basically kill this very bacteria. So this is how our mucus of the gastrointestinal tract prevent our body from the microbes. The as there are lots of example. For example, tears in our eyes also has lysozyme. Saliva in our salivary gland, which kills the microbes of food that we take. So there are lots of example. Now the third one in the first line of defense is cytokine. So how this very response occurs is that when suppose this is a microorganism which enter in my body and there are my body cells. So this very microorganism suppose enter in this very body cell. So when it enters in this very body cell, it destroy it. So this very body cell destroys here. When it destroys, it secretes cytokines. So here cytokines are released from this very cell. Cytokines are basically, for example, a type of cytokine is interferons. So here it is released and the bacteria is also released here. So what does interferons does it that it act as alarm bells and it enters into these very cells and says that, hey, get ready, the bacteria has entered in our body, so be alert. So these cells, that is the new cell which are not till affected by the bacteria, produces certain chemical substances which check the bacterial DNA replication. When this very bacteria enters into this cell is already prepared and it check the DNA replication of bacteria. Thus the bacteria cannot reproduce and it cannot hijack the machinery of this very cell, and thus the bacteria automatically dies. So this is our first line of defense. Now we will talk about the second line of defense, that is our inflammatory response. The second line of defense basically includes the action of phagocytes. Let us see how second line of defense work. Suppose this is our bacteria which enter in our body and here is my body cells. So when this very bacteria enter in this cell, suppose this is bacteria which enter in this very cell, it causes breakdown of this very cell. So when the body cell breaks, it releases certain hormones which is known as histamine. So here histamine is released. This histamine causes inflammation. Inflammation is basically redness on skin or increase in temperature or swelling in blood capillaries, like this. So when this very histamine causes inflammation, the immune cells, or what we call the phagocytic cells. So we know that there are neutrophils. There are neutrophils in the blood, that is a part of WBC. Most part of WBC includes neutrophils, and there are also some macrophages in tissues. So this moves towards that very area of inflammation by cytotoxic movement. That is the movement towards the chemicals, that is towards the histamine or the area of infection. And these all these phagocytes, that is macrophages and our neutrophils, breaks this bacteria. This bacteria is also released here. So breaks this bacteria and destroy it. So this is how our inflammatory response occurs, or second line of defense works. We will take here an example of fever. Fever is also an inflammatory response. In fever, suppose this is our bacteria enter in my body, and here is my body cell. So when the bacteria enter in my body cell and destroys it, then my WBC, you may have heard about the WBC, white blood capsules, that is our which is mainly responsible for the immune response. WBC secretes certain factors which form a chemical known as endogenous pyrogens, which causes inflammation, and in this inflammation the body temperature increases. The body temperature increases, and the increasement in body temperature may kill the bacteria, or it may attract the neutrophils and macrophages to come and kill this very bacteria. So this is how in fever our body responds to the microorganism. In case of fever, the body temperature increases highly, but the increasement in body temperature is harmful to our body. So that is why aspirin is given to reduce the body temperature. So this is how our body works in case of fever. So this is all about the non-specific type of immune response. In the next video we will discuss about the specific type of immune response, where we will discuss about B cells, T cells, lymphocytes, etc. That's all. Thank you.